Welcome to the Loveland Report and Loan Arranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner, alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Loan Arranger. And we are here. The holiday season is upon us. We are giving you your real estate and your mortgage news on the Loveland Report and the Loan Arranger Show. Appreciate you tuning in. Today, Bruce, I'm going to dive into a couple things. I get these questions. They start in October 1. It starts, hey, I think I'm going to wait till January to sell my home. We're going to talk about holiday selling and how to handle that and the myth about it being slower during the holidays. Prices are falling. I'm seeing some headlines like that. We're going to talk about that, which isn't true. We're going to talk about, I think the big thing though is rates. I mean, the trend has been coming down. So I think that's one of the big things going on.
I think the topic is always rates. It doesn't matter if rates were 2.5% or 10%. Yep. Everybody's going to talk about rates. And it's interesting. I get these phone calls from people and they'll go, hey, I just want to make sure I'm honest with you because I'm really looking for the best rate. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I've never heard that before. Nobody ever calls me and says they want the best rate. They want the highest rate, the highest possible closing cost. Why would anybody want a low rate and low closing cost? Of course you're looking for that, and you deserve that.
You fire back. Are you the guy I heard about with the 850 credit score?
Yeah. Right? So, well, it's interesting because generally your interest rate is in alignment with your credit score. So the better your credit score, the better your interest rate's going to be. The more you put down, the better your interest rate's going to be in some cases. But on the other hand, I look at who's getting the rates that are the very best right now, and it's FHA and VA. Really? It's not conventional interest rates.
So are those floating, if you're in good shape, are those floating the fives?
Your average interest rate dropped from, we saw that interest rates plummeted. They went from 6.29 to 6.19. Okay. Now, if
that's the right direction. Yeah.
It's the right direction.
That's the headline.
I'm always talking about be careful. It's not always the best thing to do to wait till a Fed does a Fed cut. So interestingly enough, we have seen a slight improvement in interest rates in the last 2 weeks. What do I tell people? 2 weeks leading up to a Fed cut. What happened on Wednesday for the quarter point Fed cut? Well, interest rates got a little bit worse. Now, I expect that this week they're going to get a little bit better again. They'll start to improve. Then what I'm expecting, we have one more Fed cut this year on December the 10th.
And I was just looking, the chances of that happening are like 90%.
94.5% right now.
So that's a good possibility there. So, but this is your consumer debt, your HELOC, your gas credit card, if you got one.
Eventually interest rates on mortgages will trickle down a little bit, but I want you to be aware that the best possible interest rates are generally just before the cut, not after the cut. It's leading up to it. The market already anticipates it. The only reason you'd see much better interest rates after a Fed cut is if the Fed cut it 0.5 point instead of 1/4 point and the market was expecting 1/4, right? So then you're going to get a bit of a bump. You're going to see some reduction in interest rates.
Yep.
But right now, I'm finding that if you're looking to refinance, FHA, VA, you definitely want to do it now. Conventional is a little harder. You're not seeing the reduction that conventional and FHA are seeing. But I do believe that, and here's, I created this VIP watch list. I've already refinanced well over 100 people on this program. I am thinking that if rates were not low enough for you to refinance already, then you need to have your loan completely ready to go so that prior to the December meeting, we're able to lock something in. Okay. Don't wait to make your application.
I hang out with a lot of financial planners and I talk about real estate planning with them because real estate's usually about 50-60% of people's net worth. And the consensus is we might be like in the mid fives next year. And it's funny, if I had known when I was growing up that I could have a job where I didn't have to be right more than half the time,
right,
I would have been an economist. My parents never explained that.
Or a weatherman.
Yeah, exactly. So now there's apps for that. So yeah, technology would have put me out of business there. But it's just, that's what I'm hearing. And this trend downward, and actually in the history of mortgages, 5.5%, 5.75% is a pretty darn good rate.
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. The average rate over 40 years is over 7.5. So if you're in the fives, but it's interesting because I'll have a client call me and go, well, your rate right now is 7.25, but you don't want to refinance unless they hit the 4s. So in other words, if they never hit the 4s, you didn't want to save $300 a month for 30 years. Do the math on that one.
Yeah.
Do the math on that one.
Yep.
Or what you could do, and a lot of folks are doing this right now, I'm finding that conventional clients, since the rates haven't dropped quite low enough for them to feel like it's truly worth it. Like if you got a $500,000 mortgage and you're only dropping the payment by $200 a month, some people may not think that's good enough based on the recoup time. But if you convert that to a 15-year and your payment can be pretty similar to what it is now, you saved hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And you know what's funny, Bruce? And these rates being where they're at and buyer traffic's kind of slow right now. It's picking up. The past 2 months, I've seen definitely increase in buyer traffic. I track all my leads. I track all my calls. I track my signed calls on my listings, people calling in off the internet. And I just think we're going to get, it's a good time, but I've turned a bunch of buyers who thought they might sell their old home. I turned about 15 of those this year into landlords, leapfrogging. So I think, and there's just some people out there, I think there's some wealth being built. And then all these people sitting on 2% and 3% mortgages, might be a 30 or a 15. They're building some good wealth right now. And I think it's definitely worthwhile to consider renting the old house before you sell it, unless it's just a, massive McMansion and you really are downsizing. You want to simplify, get the money over to the financial planner, things like that all come into play. My number, if you need help with real estate planning, 407-352-8118. Bruce, how they reach you?
Yeah, you can always call the Loan Arranger at 407-250-9144 or go to webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com. Get your application made now. First-time home buyers, there's still Hometown Heroes ready. There's still Hometown Heroes money available right now. There is no reason for somebody not to get in the market. And I'm seeing sellers paying closing costs right now that are becoming very advantageous. Some of them they're not as easy. Like even you, and as good as you are at negotiating, it can be difficult to get those closing costs paid. But some people, the affordability factor is the cash out of pocket, not the payment.
That's usually the biggest stepping stone.
I've got a veteran right now that is negotiating on a home. It's an $800,000 home, and they don't want to come out of pocket with any money. Okay. They don't want to come out of pocket with any money. Now, I believe that we can make that work. Now they need 4% from the seller on an $800,000 house, but they're willing to pay full price for the house if they can get that. That's about $26,000.
Unless that house just popped on the market in a hot neighborhood, that seller should do that.
Well, they should. It's been on the market for 19 days. So we're going to see. I think I got a contract coming in.
That'd be great.
I think I got a contract, but the seller asked their agent to call me and say, why is there something wrong with this client that they need all their closing costs paid? No. Here's what's wrong with the client. He's a disabled veteran. He went to war. He got injured in a war. He fought for your country, and he deserves to get into a home for no money down.
Yeah.
What do you think? And she said, oh, well, my seller is a ex-police officer, and he's worked hard and he's served the country. And I went, good, that we should be able to put this whole thing together and satisfy everyone.
Well, and I think one of the big handicap to the market right now, you got 70% of realtors out there did not even help a family last year, did not sell a home, did not help somebody sell one, did not help somebody buy one. And you really want that person handling the most important transactions of your life. I think besides having a baby, downloading a tricycle motor. I mean, what else could be more important than helping somebody get into that house or sell a house?
It is painful when I have a client come to me that shows their realtor and the realtor isn't acting in their best interest. They may be nice. They may return phone calls. They may be even available, but they don't know how to properly put the deal together. And I can't say anything to them.
I had one come back last week, Bruce. We asked for some closing costs, not a lot. We asked for like 3%. And we padded into the price, and the seller's agent couldn't understand that our offer was literally just $2,000, $3,000 below list price.
Right.
The house was actually priced right. And the reason it wasn't selling well is because they had no co-broke at all. Zero co-broke.
Oh, good gracious.
And this realtor, bless her heart. I mean, but I swear she's in, it just frustrates me. It frustrates me. But anyway, that's about getting the numbers done. And I just think sometimes you got to look at, this might be it's a drag on the market. These people that don't know how to negotiate, don't know how to get the seller to look at their numbers and say, this is realistic, this is not.
If you're looking to sell your home and you don't pay at least a 2.5 to 3% commission to the buyer's agent, you have just told the market that I don't want to sell my home.
You shot yourself in the foot.
You really did, because why are you willing to pay the listing agent, but not the buyer's agent? You don't want to do that. You want to pay the buyer's agent with you. You don't even accept listings unless there's a co-broke.
No, I won't do it. No,
You
I
won't do it.
No, the market's
Because
worked
you're
this way for
wasting your
120
time.
years. Well, what happens when the government gets involved? And that's what started this lawsuit. I'm sure it was Biden's DOJ. It's been going on for a while. They just thought the buyer should have a little more choice in there, and the buyer has their choice. But this system has worked for 120 years. So what's the government do? Let's turn it upside down on its head. So, and what happened with everybody, it's funny. All the part-time realtors were panicking. Oh my God, this is going to change everything. It's actually been a good thing. And I think hopefully it's forced some part-timers out of the business.
It's been a good thing for people that know realtors that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I see transactions all the time where they're like, well, the seller doesn't want to pay the buyer's closing costs and pay the real estate agent. Well, what would you have done the year before last?
Yeah.
I mean, you would have paid it then. It would have been built into your deal.
There's a lot of weak negotiators out there. So just if you have questions, you can call us on that. I want to dive into holiday selling, Bruce, before the break.
Yep. Give your number out one more time.
407-352-8118. I'll be working all this weekend. But I just think this time of year, yes, Thanksgiving. Actually, I have sold houses on Thanksgiving Day and I have sold houses on Christmas Day. The market's moving healthier, and like we don't slow down tremendously during the winter. And I really think this winter will be busier than last winter. Up north, yes, they might sell 2,000 homes a month in during the summer, and they sell 500 during the winter because they're fighting snow and it's cold outside, or it might be 10 degrees below. But here we don't seasonal change that drastic, and homes are still moving. And what's funny is, Bruce, of all the homes on the market, about half the inventory out there, we got like almost a 6-month supply.
Right.
Only about half the inventory is priced right. There's a bunch of people. I just did a market analysis on a house. Our house is bigger and pool, extra garage, better than all the other houses around it. But they've got 30 homes up and down their street within 2 miles of them within the same price. But most of them are way above our price. So what's the buyer going to look at? Because the buyer they find what they like. They don't say, hey, what's up above this price? Usually, if it's got everything they want compared to everything else out there. The buyers are pretty smart too. I mean, most realtors are too. They'll check the co-broke. They check, how much price per square foot. They check what else is around there. What's the condition? Or the pictures look good? Then they'll get the buyers through there and see what they feel about it. But they don't. When the buyer finds what they like, they say, "Hey, let's shop up $50,000 because I think I saw one the same size. It could be just as nice." They don't want to negotiate with that guy who's way overpriced. So you got to be in the market, not just on the market, and that's what we do for our sellers.
Well, I'm finding that when it comes to the buyers right now have got an opportunity, but I'm not seeing as many of them take advantage of this market as they should. I think that what people don't understand is that they think, well, I'm going to wait for interest rates to drop a little bit. Great. You might save $60 a month in your payment. Maybe that's a lot to you. Maybe you save $100 a month in your payment. It's hard to tell. However, will you get the closing costs paid? Will the seller do repairs? Because as soon as that inventory shrinks, and we've already shrinking, the only homes that aren't selling in this market are condos right now. Everything else is selling.
Yeah, I get those dues.
And the condos skew the numbers because if you look at the overall days on the market, I think we're about 9 months. But if you take the condos out of that, and you're at 4 months, we get down to 3 months, we're back into a seller's market again, and buyers don't have any choices on getting closing costs paid at that point.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it.
Yep.
So then expect to pay more for the house, expect to not get any closing costs paid. Why do you want to do that? Right now, I can get you into an FHA loan for 3.5% down. I can get you into a conventional loan for 3% down, a VA loan for no money down.
Don't you have FHA with no money down?
I have an FHA 100% financing. Yeah.
Yep. Just a little, it's got actually like a 96.5, 3.5, right?
It's a combo loan. And if you're struggling for down payment, then that is a great opportunity for you.
Well, I think everybody needs to go to your website, webringyouhome.com, and get their app in. I've actually got, I'm getting an application started. I'm going to do another one this month, buying one more before the end of the year.
Yep.
So call us 407-352-8118 for your real estate plan, or go to cleveloveland.com.
Yeah, or call the Loan Arranger, Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage, 35 years right here in your backyard, 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. We'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Loan Arranger Show. So don't go anywhere. We got a lot of things to talk about that affects your wallet. We'll be right back.